a car stuck in the road over there, or a cop. He came around the corner and now he's just parked there. But it looked like he stopped in the middle of the road. Now, you know me, when I see somebody stop like that, of course, I want to go help them. Of course, this being an officer, a lot of times they get jumpy and hellacious crazy if you approach them and offer to help. So, it doesn't sound like he's yelling or screaming or anything like that. Now, if he's having a heart attack, that's something that I want to make a call about immediately. I mean, he's stopped in the middle of the road, but also I don't want to get shot for trying to help the guy. So we'll hope there's some professional business, or maybe there's an issue with his vehicle that needs fixed. Maybe it's overheating. He was just parked over there for probably 20 to 30 minutes, and his vehicle was running the whole time. Oh, looks like he left. So that means he's not having a heart attack. I hope. Like I said, I do have to celebrate the death of every officer, but that doesn't mean that I want anyone to die. I really, truly do not. And that's the horrible thing about the things that I have to say. Somebody's got to say them. No, I tell you what the public thinks. I tell you what my friends think. I tell you how they're going to react to things. And holy goddamn, I know them well enough to be right, don't I? Fucking A, I do. Matter of fact, everything that I've had to go through since Natalie's death, I had to go through before Natalie's death over Natalie. You can see all the things that I have to deal with today. I was dealing with the same shit 6 goddamn years ago. Needing help and not getting it. Having people force me to jump through hoops. That's right, force me. Those of you who say, oh, well, nobody held a gun to your head. You know what? Until Natalie asked someone to, nobody held a gun to her head. But nobody was threatening to kill her fucking family, which is what she claimed. People were threatening to kill me and my family, and that includes Tim motherfucking Beeson. Natalie protected her predators. Many of you protect your predators just because you're fucking stupid. There is no intelligent fucking reason for doing that. None. There is no intelligent reason for kicking the good guy in the fucking teeth. No, your fucking drug addiction is not a good fucking excuse. And we've gotten to hear from a lot of addicts, they want people to feel sorry for them. Obviously. Oh, poor me, I'm a drug addict. Oh, poor me, I'm a drug addict. And you know what? Those of us who have addictions of our own, we do understand that. Yeah, I'm a pretty hardcore alcoholic 21 years ago. I stayed drunk through most of high school. I had Larry and Doug across the street. As long as I gave them enough money for them to get their booze, they'd get me a bottle of cheap Barton's vodka. I'd get drunk on my way to school, and then I'd drink the rest of the bottle at noon. No biggie. And then, of course, I covered it up by eating things that were extra minty, and I drank a whole bunch of those Frappuccinos. Used to go down to Henson's Texaco. It's a Shell station now. Henson's Petroleum, but it used to be Henson's Texaco. and I guess they've changed hands as far as the label goes over the years, but it's still under the ownership of Mr. and Mrs. Hanson. That's Larry Hanson. Now, when I tell you about the Chapel Mafia, and yeah, it's a funny joke, but it's really not. It's 6 rich old farmers who sit around in Hanson's Texaco talking shit about everybody else. And they make a lot of the major decisions in town. Small town. Found my cane, which was a good thing because I had needed it all day long. That guy that the cop pulled over, he's still over there. I'm not sure if the cop arrested him or not, but the dude's lights are still on. So, I don't know. What I do know is that getting my vehicle organized is important. If I get in trouble for doing it out here, well, that's a risk I gotta take. I can't just live in a fucking pigsty, and every time I stop to try to clean it up and get it organized, I'm told I gotta move on. Now, there's that place in the Dalles, the Sinclair in the Dalles. Those people are fucking badass. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who's... The dude bought me a fucking sandwich, something to eat. He fucking treated me good. He knew I had the money for gas, but he was still insistent. He could tell I was in a bad way. And he's a black man with a big old afro. And I don't remember his name at the moment, which sucks because he deserves a fucking award. I wanted to buy him some dinner. There's a few people between Hood River and the Dalles who are extremely, extremely good to me. It's weird that most of them are minorities, but then again, it's really not. I mean, people who have been in extreme situations, they know extreme situations. You get to hear from a lot of these people that know me in real life, what they thought of me in real life. You also get to see how different things are because we're not effectively communicating. That's because of the distance. That's because of their inability to have a conversation with someone. Most of them don't want to do it over the phone. They'd rather have a conversation in person too, but I can't go there and do that anymore, and that's not because of me, that's because of you. And I mean you, all of you. Those of you watching this channel, and of course everybody else who wants to look the other way. Your choices and your decisions. Yours. You want to pretend that they don't affect others, but they absolutely do. Your decisions to get on here and harass me and threaten my family and just continue to pound at it. And if you continue to fucking pound that fucking slander at me over and over and over again, somehow you believe it'll make it true. No, Mr. Tate, no, Mr. Boudet. All that does is make you a piece of shit. You victimize me until I have a mental fucking breakdown, and then you go, oh, see, he's crazy, he's dangerous. No, you're a fucking piece of shit is what you are. Inciting people to violence against at-risk adults. What the fuck is wrong with you, you goddamn Nazi pieces of fucking shit? Oh, but you think it's okay. You know, you guys don't believe that the Nazi mentality is alive today, but I want you to go and ask people what they think of the homeless, especially people who have never been homeless. You tell me that the Nazi mentality is alive and well today. I know enough people who were in the military that got out because they didn't agree with all the fucking murdering. Some of them had to blow their own fucking heads off to get out of that, though. Can you imagine that? Going to mom's house on leave and blowing your fucking head off? Because you don't want to go murder people in foreign countries anymore? Yeah, Nathan went out like that. I had his flag for years. It's one of the things that I lost in the process of having to move. You know how I ended up with that flag? He called me up the night before he blew his fucking head off. Told me he was gonna fucking blow his head off. Then he blew his head off, and his parents were ultra Christian. And obviously, their son wouldn't kill himself. That wasn't their son. Blah, 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 blah. So I ended up with his flag. I'm not his next of kin. I'm not his family. I'm not related to him. I was just some fucking homeless dude that he met. You know what the most fucked up part? I don't even know his last fucking name. I don't think I ever knew his last fucking name. I want you to imagine you grew up in an ultra-Christian household, and they're always talking about how all these Muslims are persecuting Christians. And they're pushing all this ultra right-wing friggin' religious crap down your throat. You know mommy and daddy's house. You know the jargon that you learned from mommy and daddy. And then you get over there and you meet yourself some Arabs, and you realize, first of all, that not all are Muslim, and second of all, that not all Muslims are evil people who fucking hate you. And you're supposed to go kill them. I mean, some of my friends come back and told me they didn't want to talk about it, most of them. Some of them told me, hey, I went into a village, I did what I was told. We're supposed to clear out insurgents. That means we go door knocking. Before we go door knocking, we spray and pray with the saw. Those of you who don't know what a saw is, that's the Model 249 squad automatic weapon. Very scary piece of machinery. These are mostly mud hut buildings. I mean, they're literally made out of mud brick. And you're shooting at it with a 30-aught. Well, that's fucking scary. I want to show you something. I found a couple of bullets today. Used, by the way. So now I have 3 bullets in my vehicle. Alright, let me see if I can find my light. Anyway, the only people who really get on my channel and pay much attention are my predators. The people from these web sleuth sites and their fucking followers. They're not interested in justice. They don't care about doing the right thing. What they care about is that their inglorious leader tells them that somebody is a bad guy, so that makes it okay to hurt them, to harass them, to threaten them and their families. You guys are responsible for this because you guys did nothing. You guys looked away. Oh, Sean, I didn't hear about it until that channel. Oh, well, that ain't my fault. That's not my choice. You came here out of curiosity. Or you came here to try to destroy evidence. And it doesn't work out so good. Now, this is an international situation. My predators have gotten involved in multiple locations worldwide. See, the slander went from me having about 24 predators altogether to, after Natalie was killed, a whole hell of a lot more. Now let's look at these 2 bullets here. They're not very big. I'd venture to say these are about I want to say these are 7 millimeters. I mean, they might be 30-aught, but they're too thin. Let me turn the camera around and we'll show you. That didn't work. Those 2 bullets, and they've both been fired. I don't know what they were fired into, because this bullet right here, you see the back end impression? That's actually the front end of the bullet. That's the back end. Now, this is definitely a rifle round. It is for certainly not a handgun round. You can tell on the neck of these particular projectiles, perhaps not this one. The other one shows it better. You can see the grooves in it. Those grooves are actually what makes it a rifle. That's called rifling. It makes the bullet spin like a football. Now on this one, you can see some of the neck seating underneath. Let me see. Right there. Now the other bullet that I have, actually I have one more that's a live round. It's a 7.62 by 39 round. That's what goes in an AK-47. Found that on the road. I figured it was a good idea to pick it up. This one right here is been fired. You can see the rifling in it, but it's a lead cone. And I think this, it kind of looks like something that was fired out of a black powder, but it doesn't have the same fouling on the rear end that it would if it was black powder. So I don't know. Anyway, I've now made enough space in my car where I can see the back window almost. But I got quite a mess out here I'm cleaning up. Trying to get my stuff organized and put back in here. So this stuff all does have to go back in. This right here, when I say I've got evidence, I've got evidence. This is like 3 out of 15 bags of evidence. And then I got 2 briefcases that are full of evidence. I got a computer full of evidence. I got another computer full of evidence. This phone here is full of evidence. Now, a lot of people, they can't get past the Natalie thing. That's all they care about. Like, they don't want to see the shit that I'm going through. They don't care about what I'm going through. What they care about is Natalie. But they don't actually care about Natalie. Natalie's dead. They're only interested in entertainment. And for some of them, they like the fact that I am active entertainment. I actively defend myself. I actively go out of my way to show the truth. I do my best to be as honest as I possibly fucking can. And although there are times where I have not told the truth, in most of those situations, it's because I didn't know the truth. What I knew was what other people were telling me, and these other people who were telling me these things are supposed to be professionals. So what I knew is what the professionals had told me. In some of these situations, people who had promised that they were going to help me intentionally misled situations. After they had lied to me, they wanted to have a validated excuse. So of course, pretending that something fucked up happened to them, well, that's somehow magically okay, huh? Well, if that something fucked up happened to you, you should have no problems fucking speaking up. I got so many people who offered to help, promised to help, didn't keep their word, and then said, oh, well, I had my own stuff going on. Well, you think you could have let me know that? Do you? And then when these folks tell me what it is that they're going through, I'm like, holy shit. That's all? This is what you're fucking freaking out about? You won't take a look at any of the shit that I'm going through. You want to give me advice and pretend that my life is this easy fucking peasy thing without any of the help that you've got. And then you're going to tell me about all the wonderful things that you now have because of all of the help that you got. Well, okay, you got yourself a place now. Good. I'm glad you got a place. I don't see what the complaint is. Now, understandably, there's situations that I may not understand because I'm not there. I'm not in Georgia to see the shit that, well, that last asshat wanted to put me through. Okay, if you're really going through that stuff, I can understand. I really can. But if you're going to tell me that those are the reasons that you haven't kept your word, well, you need to fucking speak up about that. See, here's the thing. All these people giving me all these excuses, well, then you need to tell the fucking cops that. That's the thing with these folks outright lying to me. And, of course, there's a lot of them that I know for a fact they did not lie to me. That's because I was there for the situation. So when we had conversations about it and I posted them on YouTube, those are situations that both that person and I were both present for. That's important. The things that I said that I was called schizophrenic for saying, they're all verified by the fucking witnesses. All of it. Some of it was only issued to me because, all right, let me give you an example here of Ed Simmons. This is Christine Buhit's ex. So I needed him to, first of all, admit that I did plan on going to see him on my trip to Virginia. And he did finally. I needed him to admit that I didn't make it. And why? And there's Sage. Sage was in contact with me the whole time I was in Virginia. The whole time. I mean, this guy used to help save lives in Boulder with me. Walking drunks to the warming centers and shit so they don't fucking freeze to death like idiots. And it's not easy. There are a lot of people who end up dead. They freeze to death like idiots. And then it makes it bad for all of us. It makes it bad for all of the homeless people. Because then the cops get to use that as an excuse to crack down. What that really means is they're going to go harass a bunch of innocent people they just don't like. There was a couple of real pretty girls down there. And they were there for about, I don't know, 2 years. And they were Officer Steinman's best buddies. And he'd flirt with them, and they'd flirt with him. I don't remember their fucking names. And that always sucks. But these girls were drug addicts. And of course, when they didn't get their drugs, they didn't get their way, or they didn't get their control, they'd go to Steinman. And then Steinman would go harass some poor motherfucker who doesn't have it coming. But hey, it's fine, right? It's kind of like Kelly. Kelly Henson. See, she likes Steinman, but she's also a rollover and a lush. That means she's a chronic alcoholic. Now, Kelly Henson, of course, she likes Steinman. She's got a big old crush on Steinman, and Steinman flirts with her. He doesn't intend on putting out. He just knows that she's lonely and on the streets, and leading her on might get her to do something stupid. Girls do that to boys all the time. So as far as dropping any points off of Steinman as a human being for doing that, I'm not going to do that because, well, If it's okay for girls, it should be okay for boys. I personally think it's wrong for everybody, but we live in a society where with girls it is acceptable. If it's acceptable for girls to do that, then even this guy that I don't, Chief Steinman, a horrible excuse for a human being and an even worse excuse for an officer. Yes, I'm sticking up for him, leading on a female who is vulnerable and desperate and alone and lonely. Absolutely, I'm saying that's okay. Not because I believe it's okay, but because I believe in equality. If it's okay for women to do that, it's okay for men. That's equality. Equality means that if a woman can have a man locked up on fucking slander with zero fucking evidence, that a man should be able to do the same. But I'm not asking for that equality, am I? Well, why the hell not? Because it's wrong. Because I have repeatedly been the target of chronic fucking asswipes like that. Women especially. Especially women who cry wolf whenever they don't get what they want. Oh, Sean, he's beating me. Oh, Sean, I'm afraid he's going to do this, and I'm afraid he's going to do that. Sean, come rescue me, and I come and rescue you, and 2 weeks later, you're sucking his dick again. And that's what it comes down to. You get alone, you get lonely, you do some fucking drugs because you're feeling sorry for yourself. Next thing you know, your drunk ass or your fucking messed up ass is back over at your ex's house getting some dick. Sex boils your brains. Just the thought of sex boils your fucking brains. Jamie Curtis and Natalie Bollinger are two perfect examples of that. Jamie knew I wasn't interested and she couldn't handle that. So she had to push and push and push and push. Finally, I gave in. And when I gave in, oh, she's not interested. Okay, well, don't fuck with me. Either I'm good enough or I ain't. At that point in time, I wasn't fucking interested in sex. I'm still not interested in sex. I was willing to have sex with Jamie because I didn't want to lose my best friend. But goddamn, she played a bunch of head games. And of course, Jackie McKenzie, she warned me more than once. She knew Jamie was playing head games. We got Dallas Richmond recorded on my YouTube channel, at least 3 different recordings on my YouTube channel where he talks about the shit that Jamie and Jackie did, not just to him. You goddamn right I recorded that shit. And you goddamn right I'm still trying to fight to get my rights fucking observed. These goddamn criminals broke the law. And instead of ignoring the evidence, all of these mandated reporters are required to take a look at it. That includes the FBI. At this point in time, according to the United States Constitution, I have the right to blow up an FBI building or 10. That's right, our right to keep and bear arms isn't a hunting law. It's so that when our government is run by tyrants, like it is now, that we can rise up and fucking stop those son of a bitches. So far, the FBI has almost 20 bodies directly related to the situation with Natalie Bollinger. 20 of them, at least. They got that many in connection with the situation between myself and Natalie and the aftermath. All 20 of those bodies only exist because I was not heard. Guess how many of those bodies I made? If your guess is anything higher than 0, you're wrong. Yes, I understand that according to the Constitution, every one of us has the right to pick up our firearms today and shoot a politician. That is our right. That is literally what the Second Amendment is for. The Second Amendment is the kill a politician law. It's not murder. It's not murder. These are politicians. This is your government. And they are traitors to you, the American people. We, the people, is how the Constitution begins. Not we, the politicians, and our corporate buddies. Not we, the politicians, and our child molester buddies with private airplanes and private islands, where you can go do whatever you want. With a little boy or a little girl, it don't matter. Shit, we don't even limit it to politicians, do we? We limit it to Hollywood too, don't we? If you're rich and famous, this is the message that the United States is telling the whole world. If you're rich and famous, it's okay to molest children. Once in a great while, they'll cut one out to cull the herd and say, hey, look, we're doing something. But really, they're just covering their own ass and trying to make it look like they're doing something. How many pedophiles in Hollywood fled after Ricky Gervais did his thing? Straight up fled the country and won't come back. Goddamn right they're afraid. But you know who's not? The politicians and the billionaires. Do you know why they're not? Because you idiots are following Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s teachings instead of Malcolm X. What really got black people rights in this country was when they actually picked up fucking guns and took them to where the politicians are. I want to personally thank every member of the Black Panther Party for self-defense who marched into the California Capitol building with their guns. I want to personally thank them. Because that single act, that one single act by black Americans did more to destroy Jim Crow than every single attempt by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his Million-Man March. That's right. Those few people with the balls enough to march in and show those politicians that we are not their bitches. Those men sacrificed their lives. They sacrificed their lives, not just for their own people, but for ours as well. When it comes to the fight for equal rights, who's done more than the Black Panther Party for self-defense? They took what Malcolm X said to heart, and that has saved a lot of black lives, a lot of Native lives. That has created a world where people now are disgusted by racism and want to push it out. And thank goodness, rightfully so. But we can't thank Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for that. We got to thank Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party for self-defense, and the Second Amendment. When the politicians become tyrants, you have the right to shoot them. When the people who work at the sheriff's department, like Leslie Snell, take part in things like this, yes, that gives me the right to shoot her. It's the Second Amendment. It's not a fucking hunting law. Now, as you will all notice, I haven't shot anybody. You're fine with people stalking me, and when I speak out about it, you call me a liar. Well, I'm used to that. Before Natalie was killed, so many people from Pierre Worsblick, although I don't think I'm pronouncing his name right, to Natalie Bollinger, to Brandon Ratner, to Kayla Trujillo, all these people I know in real life, have known for years, all telling me I'm the most honest person they know. Now that right there is probably what fucked me up from the start. All these people who knew me to be an honest and forthright individual. They trusted me instead of looking at the evidence. And they kept on telling me they trusted me. And I kept on telling them, I don't want you to trust me. I need you to look at the evidence. Big difference. If you trust me, then it means you believe me. I don't want belief. I want knowledge. I want you to have the knowledge that I'm telling the truth. But you refuse that knowledge. You refuse to look at the evidence. You refuse to look at the evidence by claiming that you trusted me. Well, unfortunately, you can't trust me. If you stab me in the back, I don't owe it to you to be a human fucking pincushion, bitch. If you're a fucking pig, and somebody shoots you in front of me, I'll probably try to save your life. I don't want to admit that. There's two types of people that become cops. You've got the type that were bullies all growing up, and they like it a lot, so they seek a position of power where they can get away with bullying people. And then you've got their victims who also want to become cops. They want to become cops because they want to bully. They want to be able to have a position where they can bully people and get away with it. So the only people that become cops are bullies and want to be bullies. And if you want to be a bully, become a cop. If you want to murder people wholesale and get away with it, become a nurse. Chloe Roma, she's got a site called Roma Army Men's Rights. I'm against most of what she says at this point. I agree with most of it, but I also pay close attention to who it's coming from and what she's told her viewers to do. She told her viewers to lie, including in court. In my situation, they skipped courts and went straight to the punishment. And then when I spoke out about the punishment, the courts abused their position to assist their buddies. You get to see how I am continually harassed by people who weren't there, weren't a part of it, won't look at evidence. And I am continually harassed by these people on the internet and in real life. My dad wants his name cleared for things that he actually did. That's what he wanted to blackmail me into doing, helping to cover up his crimes. Well, fuck you. Who's going after Brian Schwartz for being a sick piece of shit? Nobody. Nobody gives a fuck. My dad's not a good man. But I have to understand that that's not my choice. It's not my decision for my dad to be a piece of shit. There's a lot of people that, thank goodness they're dead. Whether I love them or not is arbitrary at this point. They're corpses. No matter how much I love them, it's not going to bring them back from the dead. No amount of happy thoughts is going to make those people fly. Six years of abuse. My dad cares about piddly shit compared to what I'm going through. What he wants removed from the internet, it's nothing. It's easy to take down. But I'm not doing it for free. I am sure as shit not going to hide your fucking crimes from the public. And if you want me to take them down so that the public can't view it, you're going to have to give me something in return. I'm not going to destroy that evidence. You have to help me to get it into court. That's right. Once that down and off of the internet, he's going to have to help me get that information and more into court. He's going to have to fess up to his shit. The problem with the label of mentally ill is that it is used for one purpose and one purpose only. And that is to credit the victims. Every one of you has somebody in your family who is not heard because of the term mentally ill. No matter what happens to them, when they try to speak up, they get told, oh, well, you're mentally ill. Well, I want you to take a look at that situation with Jamie. There's a video on my channel called Jamie Again. I want you to look at the situation. He fucking socked her in the back of the head hard enough that you could fucking hear it in the video. When I saw him shove her, I knew I had to do something, and that's why I got out of the vehicle. I knew that I had to get it recorded. Otherwise, nobody was going to do anything. Even after recording it and showing it to multiple people who are friends with Jamie, who claim they look out for Jamie. Even claims that if they'd have been there, they would have called the cops. One of those women, she wanted to yell at me and be hateful and call me a rat. Like Christopher Tapp, of course. A rat. And they said just like that, you're a rat. Bitch, I'm saving lives. If ratting your ass out saves lives, I'll do it. If ratting you out prevents you from raping another person, I'll do it. If ratting you out prevents you from molesting another kid, I'll do it. If ratting you out prevents you from beating or killing one of my friends, I will fucking do it in a heartbeat. Rah! Rah! Right? Do the big eye thing. Oh! Scream and shout, Rah! Of course, at the top of my lungs, because that's what really gets you guys to listen. When I speak, you ignore it. These web sleuth groups, they just want somebody they can pick on, and of course, I'm an easy target. They just go on my channel and they zip through and listen to 5 or 6 hours until they can find little bits and pieces they can twist. Are they going to show you those videos in their entirety? No, they're not. Are you going to bother to look them up for yourself and watch them in entirety? No, you're not. When I say that humans are the scum of the earth, I truly do mean it. You cast us out from your society for being different. And then you victimize us for being cast out. And then you tell us it's our fault because we're not trying hard enough to fit into your fucking society. We're not working hard enough for our minimum fucking wage. Y'all ever had to walk 7 miles to work and 7 miles back every day? Well, that was an easy fucking job. You know why? Because in high school, I used to walk 9 miles to school and back every day. Well, it was almost 10 miles all said and done because my house in Chapel, Nebraska, or my mom's house, was probably about, I don't know, a quarter of a mile into town. And then the school in Lodgepole is about a quarter of a mile from the sign there. So I guess 9.5 miles each way. But that was my dedication to work. When you guys tell me I just need to get a job, you're just being assholes. That's the only reason that people say shit like that, is to be fucking condescending assholes. Get a job! Get a job! Yeah, thanks. After all of the injuries that I've sustained, you want to ignore them and pretend that I can do whatever you want me to do. You want me to do it, and I've got the magic resources to do this. Well, no, I don't. And I don't respect you fucking cowards either. I don't owe you respect. You have given me every reason not to respect you. This stuff is happening nationwide, not just to me. But how many of you are walking into the California Senate locked and loaded and ready to give up your lives for your autistic brother? Or for your sister with chronic depression because your daddy raped her repeatedly? How many of you are willing to go in locked and loaded for your schizophrenic niece who has to take the abuse because no one's ever going to believe her? No one's ever going to look at the evidence. You guys keep saying shit to me like, my hands are tied, my hands are tied. No, they're not. You're holding onto the rope and there's people's necks dangling on the other end. Let go of the rope, bitch. Let go of the rope. You know what the great thing about them convincing you to hold the rope like that is? They're convincing you to hold onto the rope and telling you that you're tied up. You're not, you're just a coward. You're afraid that if you let go of the rope, they'll shoot. But they know that as long as you're holding onto the rope, you can't shoot back. If you guys don't get that metaphor, you haven't been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention to the world that we're in. We've got these cops getting away with literally murdering people and saying, I just did my job. Yeah, no. The Nazis at Nuremberg just did their jobs and we still hung them. With the exception of Goering's fat ass. Now, I got a theory about that. I think they realized that if they hung him, his head would pop off. Now, I mean that literally. Somebody that heavy, yeah, his neck would break instantly. There's no way to just choke him to death. He was too fat for that. There was no way in hell that his spinal column was going to support the massive girth that man was holding on to. If they dropped him from 2 inches, his head would still pop off. So my theory about Goering is that it was the Americans who slipped him the cyanide because they wanted to have a clean, gruesome spectacle. They had cameras and everything to film it. So yeah, they didn't want the watching public to see Goering's head pop off and all of his blood spew out of the top of his neck like a shook-up soda bottle. My phone's about to die, so you know how we end these videos. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.